Welcome to Coffee and Whiskey with Ivy. Actually, slave, take the whiskey away because I've stopped drinking whiskey. And you will notice that I do not put this on my head anymore because since I stopped drinking whiskey, I have no more headaches. Of course, everybody is talking about the top of the news. Heng picked S4G Leader with Chan as deputy, how PAP's 4G Leader choose their leader, etc. But leaders are chosen by the people, not by their cronies. So the current ruling party can put whoever they want up there as a team. But the final decision is with the people because they can vote the entire party out if they don't like the leader that is in the lineup. I like Heng Swee Keat. He has been described as nice, soft-spoken, and genuine. Can you really use that word genuine to describe everybody in that CEC? I don't think so. But let the best man or woman be chosen to be the leader. We have a few more years to go. I'm sure we Singaporeans know the best when we see the best up there. Actually, if you look at this picture, they look like a bunch of schoolboys and girls from an institution and with a principal and a few disciplinary masters there, right? Where are the creators? What have they created? Like Lim Kim San, like Goh Keng Swee, like even Philip Yeo. Where are the disruptors? They are all administrators. They are all secretaries to either Lee Kuan Yew or Lee Hsien Loong or something like that. In other words, many of them were coffee makers for their bosses. They are good administrators, good coffee makers, but I don't think they are great creators. They have never run a business. I would hope that in the next few years, either they go out to the ground and find out what our country really needs to make that quantum leap to be able to last another 1,000 years. This guy, Lawrence Wong, he's making good sounds. Go out and engage Singaporeans. Minister urges public officers. He's really getting it. He said, the government nowadays should not be just making policies. They should go out and see what business people need. Government must also double down on its efforts to build a fair and inclusive society. I really like what he said. He said, I don't think it is good enough for us to read reports of feedback gathered by other officers. We must go down to the ground. So at least one minister who will be in that group that's going to lead our country in the next 20 years is getting it. Maids free to borrow from moneylenders. MOM says they may be driven to borrow from loan sharks if employers' consent is made mandatory. MOM must be mad, you know. MOM should set up a loan bank. They collect a lot of maid levies and maids should go and borrow from them only. And if anybody lends money to maids without the employer knows it, that person should be locked up in jail. When people borrow money from you, it means they are living beyond their means or they have a problem which they cannot earn enough money to settle. If they cannot live their lives with the money they are paid, they will steal from you or they will go and try to make money through other means. And if this person is living in my house, I want to know what is going on. So MOM, stop being stupid. Don't allow maids to borrow money from anyone. They must go to MOM because you are collecting the levies and doing nothing for them. New hawker center model is sound. 3 areas of focus to improve hawker center model. Listen, business is very simple. You should help the person, the hawker, make money. Minister Masagos is correct. The hawker is an entrepreneur. Stop this outsourcing model. The outsourcing model is no more than getting a PIM to run your business. So NEA, which owns most of the hawker centers, should just run it. Stop getting a PIM to add another layer of money, and the poor hawker is made to be like a prostitute being screwed from the front and the back at the same time, right? Cut out the middleman. Go down to the ground. NEA employs many people. Make them do the work of the landlord. Employment Act changes give workers greater protection. You know, government should stop messing around with the Employment Act, etc., to make it more and more difficult for SMEs to survive. If all the SMEs make plenty of money, they will know how to look after their own people. Why is it if this Employment Act is so great, it says here, but it will not cover public servants? It should cover public servants first. The government is the biggest employer. Ask them to try all these wonderful rules and regulations on their own employees and see whether they will survive. If they can survive, the SME will be able to survive because they got the big Santa Claus of income tax to collect tax and pay their workers, whereas we don't. So do not fiddle around with the Employment Act unless government can make it work for themselves. More protection for victims of sex assault. It is good to aim for zero sexual assault. In fact, we should have no assault, sexual or otherwise. But the reality in the world is this: home is the most dangerous place for women. And every hour, 6 women are being killed by someone they know somewhere around the world. They are also most likely to be killed by intimate partners and family, making their home the most dangerous place they live in. You know, as usual, the advice they give, you must educate men, you must educate early education. I agree. We must have early education, especially for women. We have to teach them to have aggression. If somebody slaps you on the right side, you ask the person, why you slapped me? And then if they cannot give a good answer, you punch that bastard and kill him, right? You don't offer him the left cheek. This is the problem with the world. Women are trained to be chattel. Women are trained to be victims. We must train women to be like me, warriors. We kill those bastards. But then, of course, you'll have a lot of dead men and no married women. I read this article by Salma Khalid, Don't Take with a Pinch of Salt. It's an excellent article. What you need to do is to make short notes, and the short notes are this. Salt and sugar are the 2 killer foods. Yellow noodles have 35 times more salt content than bihun or kway teow. I didn't know that, you know. In Singapore, we are taking double the amount of salt and sugar. What to do? Everybody, government will say, put salt tax, sugar tax, because they think that will help them have more money in their bank account, you know. But a different tax is needed. Learn from the best. So must be a white country called England. How did they do it? Government there worked with industries. They first identified what people eat and where they eat it. Then they tell the manufacturers to cut down the salt and the sugar content, or they close the manufacturers down, or they name and shame them. Government must take the first step and make sure the people who make the food and provide the food act responsibly. So I hope you will look as good as me when you are 70. Another minister making good noises, Minister Masagos, says tackling climate change starts at home. Call to change habits, especially on recycling rather than throwing things into rubbish chute. Yes, you're absolutely right. And solar farms and so forth and so forth. So, Minister, look at the use of these new idea called bento boxes made of plastic. I collected these from the ones that were sent to my farm for a particular group of people who wanted to eat from these bento boxes. I got my staff to put this through a dishwashing machine, and then I'm going to make holes and plant seeds in them. You can actually plant some kangkong, etc. on this, But the main point I'm making is, how many straws is equivalent to this bento box? And we are using millions of this every day because I'm told the army is serving food in plastic bento boxes too. So Minister, look at this problem. As a member of the Nature Society, I received the Nature Watch. This edition is an excellent one. It tells the story of developing the forest into a forest town. And it's actually the Nature Society's position on this new development called Tengah. I called Sean Lam, the president of Nature Society, to ask him to give me a short synopsis of what the article is about. His view is that Singapore has a good deal of nature and conservation experience and expertise, but it is scattered across different organizations, institutions, and government agencies. If we could more effectively harness and direct this expertise, we could perhaps achieve improved outcomes for all. And I think it's well put, well said, but basically what he's saying is get the real experts on board any big development project we're going to do and ask them for input. Don't just listen to those smart-ass administrators who don't know anything about conservation, etc. Fixed legal fees off the table for now. Last week, I said it was a wonderful idea and it was about bloody time the minister did it. Now I read that he's not going to do it. I'm disgusted. Minister, you better have a good explanation why you have made this decision and for how long more you're going to help the lawyers. My poor darling Fandi, don't fret. Our team did well. We have a strong team. It takes time to develop a team that can beat a stronger team like Thailand. They have had their coach for years. You've only been there for 6 months. We need to revamp the Football Association of Singapore and put people there who understand how to win. Well, you will notice that I have got a new mojo. You know why? I stopped drinking and my friend taught me this exercise. The best, easiest qigong exercise you can do. You keep flapping like a bird. You can do it watching TV. You can do it whilst you're having a shit. You can do it anywhere. You know why? Birds don't have diabetes. Birds don't have high blood pressure. Don't have to worry about what you eat. Just keep flapping. Thank you for watching Coffee and Whiskey with Ivy. My lovely director brought me a curry pao, so I have now got rubbish in my teeth. But you know, the bamboo shoot is the best toothpick in the world. Remember to subscribe so that you can see me in action next week.